All right, thank you. This is a meeting of the Baltimore City Ethics Board for January 10th, 2024. It's now 2:38 p.m. My name is Stephen Fogelman, Chair. We'll call this meeting to order. So you understand, all participants in the public session of the board meeting acknowledge and consent to the video and audio recording of the public session and the publication of the recording on the board's website and on social media accounts. Per the Open Meetings Act, the board discloses that it adjourned its virtual open meeting on December 13th, 2023 to enter administrative session at approximately 3:25 p.m. 4 board members were present. Member Newman was absent. Members discussed administrative matters, including complaints. Today, the board may also need to close some or all of this meeting to preserve the confidentiality mandated by the Ethics Code or as otherwise authorized by the State Open Meetings Act. Likewise, upon adjournment of the open session, the board may reconvene for an administrative session to discuss non-public administrative functions of the board. All right, thank you for your patience and listening to that. Does anybody have a hard stop today? Any members that have to participate in something else? We have 4 members here, so we certainly have a quorum. All right, if anybody...
If we could finish by 4 o'clock, that would be great with me.
Agreed. Agreed. So we'll try. That's our mark right there. Thank you. The written minutes of December 13th of our public session. We had 3 members here today who were at that meeting. Does anybody have any questions about the contents of those minutes? All right, hearing no. All right, hearing no objection. All right. I'll move for the approval of the minutes of December 13th.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Arnold? Arnold, raise your hand if you're in favor of that. Right, thank you.
And Arnold, I sent the phone number in the chat. If you want to call us, we'll be able to hear you. Sorry.
No, that's all good. We'll go ahead and defer our staff update for a minute so that we can hear a request on the CIAA tournament. Do we have is everybody in the room?
Ms. Edmonds, that if you want.
Yes, I'm here. I'm just trying to unmute myself. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So I'm sorry, I'm very new to this, so just kind of state my case. Pretty much.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So as everyone is aware, the CIAA is coming to town. Visit Baltimore and the CFG Arena have offered to give the mayor a bunker suite during the tournament, which comes with 16 tickets. So I'm reaching out to see, one, if it's acceptable or appropriate for us to accept. And if so, what forms or documentation we should include with that, or would it be in the best interest of the mayor's office to decline altogether?
Okay. Chris, you want to lead off?
Well, just a quick follow-up question. What is the date of the event that the tickets would be? Just to give us an idea to on how urgent the response is. Not that we ever don't treat any request as urgent, but just for us to get a better idea.
Sure. The tournament starts on February the 26th and runs through March the 3rd with games every day.
Well, in that case, I have to thank you for bringing it to our attention that early, because usually it's the day after. So, good. Well, so here for the board, just as a basic background, the arena or the operator of the arena is a tenant of the city, and as such, likely a controlled donor. So we have the offer of an unsolicited gift, and we can approach this as a application for gift acceptance. I would like to draw your, not at least the collective memory back to 2012, where the ethics board handled an almost identical situation. At that point, however, the gift in quotation marks of the tickets had been a term in the contract between the operators of the arena at that point and the city. So it was part of a contractual obligation and as such not a gift in legal terms or for the purposes of the ethics law. So in this case, I did a very cursory review of the contract. There are sections that broadly could be interpreted as at least creating a rebuttable presumption that free tickets are included there. I'm not quite sure if it really applies. So my suggestion would be for the board to possibly discuss the implications of this in the context of a potential more general advisory, because in 2012 the board expressed certain displeasure with the lack of documentation who would receive those tickets, for what city-related purpose those tickets were distributed, and actually provided a couple of questions to the law departments, which to my knowledge were never really answered in detail. So this could be an opportunity for more deliberation in the administrative part, to create perhaps a more widely acceptable and applicable board ruling on this.
Yeah, do the members have any questions of the request from the administration?
I guess my question is, Ms. Edmonds, thank you for coming here. Does the mayor's office plan to submit a formal application for a gift waiver, or are we handling this as an oral request for a gift waiver? That's what it's not clear to me.
Well, we want to do whatever is appropriate and the best practice. So that's why I was asking. We most certainly can fill out a gift waiver if that's what's best. That wouldn't be a problem.
I prefer that. Yeah, I mean, that's how we normally do business. But it is certainly on the radar now, and we'll have legal take a look at it.
Yeah, and as a footnote, this issue came up yesterday, and I really thank you, Ms. Edmonds, to be available on such short notice to join us at the meeting and give us a head start on the process. And even if we supplement a written waiver application retroactively, the process is going to be in the works, so to speak.
Okay, that sounds good.
Noel?
Sorry. I am curious, understanding that you will submit a formal waiver request. CIAA has been to Baltimore in the past. Has there been any donation of tickets prior to this year?
No, so last year the city bought tickets. Last year also, because the arena was under construction, the suites weren't available to be used.
Okay.
So this is the first year, and the suites are bunker style, so you can't see the event from the suite, which is why the tickets come with the suite.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And
Thank you.
as another footnote, the contract between the new operator and the city was signed in November of 2021. So there is not a whole lot of precedent of established conduct between the parties in that regard. There was with the previous operator, but it is a completely different agreement than the previous contract was.
Okay, that's good to know. Thanks.
Thank you very much for being here this afternoon. We'll be in touch with you shortly.
Okay, thank you. So in the meantime, complete the waiver, fill it out, and then y'all will be in touch with your findings.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, just as a point of clarification, so the mayor's office isn't soliciting tickets. These were unsolicited, correct?
Correct.
So this may be a request for an exemption to the acceptance restrictions rather than a waiver request to solicit gifts.
Mhm.
So we'd have to come up with a form for the request.
Got it. Okay. Got it. So I'll stand down until.
Yeah,
get
we'll be in touch
Is that
this week.
fair? Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds fair. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank
you.
you.
Take care.
All right. Thanks.
All right, let's go back to the staff updates at this time. Laura?
Sure,
Nishan?
I'll actually let Nishan handle it today. Can you hear us today, Nishan? Is it working? Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So for this December metrics, helped us in the
It's
ethics
really
training.
low.
Oh,
Having a hard time hearing.
can you still hear me or no?
No, I think
Very
your
soft.
speaker must be, you
Mm,
might need to choose a different speaker option.
Let me see. Does this help at all? No.
You might have to holler at us old folk.
Um,
I don't consider myself old. I
I
can't.
young as fun.
I'll try to talk louder. I don't know if that's gonna work, but
These are good numbers. Shout them, be proud and loud.
for the help desk and ethics training numbers, we will provide that in February at the next board meeting. For lobbying, ethics board staff sent reminders to lobbyists informing them that the annual lobbying reports are due by the end of the month. For complaints this month, we have 14 complaints, 2 which are open, and 12 were dismissed. We received 2 new complaints this month. For secondary employment waivers, they're currently 0. For gift solicitation waivers, we received 1 gift solicitation waiver application for this board meeting. 5 gift solicitation waivers expired since the last board meeting. Altogether, there are 14 active waivers with 15 expired waivers. And finally, for financial disclosure statements, the ethics board staff are still waiting for 5 agencies and boards to provide a list of required financial disclosure filers. The deadline to provide the list was January 1st, 2024. And elected officials have been notified to file their disclosure by January 31st. And sorry if you guys couldn't hear me.
Now we can hear better.
Thank you so much,
You're
Nishan.
welcome.
All right. We have, I don't think we have any old business today.
We have one new business, the charitable governmental gift solicitation waiver, Connect to Success Squeegee Collaborative Program.
And as Tracy Estep with the Mayor's Office of African American Male Engagement is on the call now, so she
Great.
would be able to provide some additional information.
Good
Let's do it.
afternoon, everyone.
How are you?
I am well. How are you?
Very good. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. So I submitted a request for 2024 solicitation and donations for the Mayor's Office of African American Male Engagement Connect to Success and Squeegee Collaborative Program. The funds that we solicit, or the in-kind donations that are submitted to the Baltimore Civic Fund, are used to enhance the program for the young people. We provide stipends for them, 1 day's work, 1 day's pay, barrier removal, meals, transportation assistance, anything that falls under the guidelines of Connect to Success that is a part of ensuring success, ensuring that these young people are on the correct pathways of success. I think I outlined all of the information all of the details in the application, as well as outlined that the funds are submitted to the Baltimore Civic Fund. who manages the funds for our Connect to Success program, and we request the funds as needed. The Baltimore Civic Fund also worked with Moaine to do the quarterly and annual reports that we submit upon request from the Ethics Board.
All right, and you've listed all of the public servants that would solicit contributions here.
That's correct.
Yeah. We're all aware of the Civic Fund. Is there any discussion with Director Estep? Yes, John.
You're on mute.
John, you're on mute.
Now I'm off.
There we go.
Okay. Thank you for being here, Ms. Estep. I have a couple of questions. The section 5 of the application asks about measures to be taken to make sure that donations aren't solicited from controlled donors. And I didn't really understand that response. The response I read was that the members of the Squeegee Collaborative community-based coalition, including the Boys and Young Men of Color Cabinet, plan to solicit donors through a direct ask and with written correspondence. And putting aside whether I understand that sentence in its entirety, I don't understand how that ensures that controlled donors won't be solicited.
So if I am taking understanding this correct, controlled donors are those who currently do business with the city, correct? So our office does not solicit donations or any people on a Squeegee Collaborative or the Young Boys in Color, Young Boys and Men of Color Cabinet doesn't solicit funds from people who directly do business with the city, because we have to follow the ethics guidelines. We all have to do a financial disclosure statement, and we have to follow the ethics guidelines of Baltimore City. So that's what that answer was stating.
So you're going to do broad.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, and then the second question is, why is it that city officials need to do the soliciting as opposed to the organizations themselves? It's my understanding that what you're asking for is for permission for city officials to make requests on behalf of charitable organizations. And I'm wondering why those charitable organizations aren't perfectly capable of making these requests on their own without city official participation or input.
So that's a good question, and thank you for that question. So some charitable organizations do directly donate funds to the Mayor's Office of African American Male Engagement, but on the large, when you look at the total picture, we solicit philanthropic dollars to assist with this program because our budget from the city is very minimal. We reach a vast number of young people throughout Baltimore City, and being able to have folk from our office to solicit the funds directly to the Baltimore Civic Fund is an opportunity for us to garner dollars outside of city dollars to ensure that young people have access to necessities that they need.
And that sounds okay to me, but what I don't understand is, what is the Squeegee Collaborative? Is that part of the city agency, or is that a separate charity?
So the Squeegee Collaborative is a combination of city leaders, our team, and the business community working together to minimize young people who panhandle on the corner. We have a working group, that's the Squeegee Collaborative. They work in tandem with our office. So Dr. Bunley and myself are part of the Squeegee Collaborative. So the CAO is a part of the Squeegee Collaborative. So if someone says, hey, I want to donate to Moaine for work that you all are doing with the collaborative, we want to make sure that it's covered through this solicitation so that they're not saying that we're soliciting funds without following the ethics guidelines.
Okay, I guess I understand it now. What you're saying is that the Squeegee Collaborative is working with your group, the Mayor's Office of African American, I'm sorry.
Male
African
engagement.
Male engagement. And so they're not an independent charity or a 501c3 organization or anything like that.
No, it's just a group. It's a working group that initiated out of young people panhandling on the corners. The collaborative, we're working with these young people to ensure that they don't have to go out on the corners to solicit money. We can put them in this program and use the funds that we get to ensure that they are doing the right thing and being connected in a constructive manner.
Okay, thank you. I
You're
appreciate it.
welcome.
That's all the questions I asked, Steve.
No problem. All right, thank you, Officer Estep. And,
You're welcome.
Pardon me.
It's okay.
Any discussion?
Did you ask for discussion?
Yes.
I would suggest that this sounds like an appropriate request for a waiver, and I would be in support of the request.
Any other discussion? I gotta get a piece of gum. Arnold sure has been.
I second what John is saying. I do have one request, and sorry if this is coming late. Off of item number 5, understanding, Ms. Estep, your explanation in terms of how with controlled donors and ensuring that they're not specifically targeted. Is it possible to draft a sentence saying that you have because I don't see the process. Are you going to go through the list that you have that reaches out to or solicits donors and make sure that they're not controlled? Like, what's the quality control measures that we're doing to make sure that the controlled donors are not contacted or targeted?
So the quality control measure is that anytime someone requests solicitation or would like to donate, they have to come through our office. They can't just do it on their own. So we've put that in writing. I can put that in here. No one can make a request for the Connect to Success program or do a donation outside of those who are listed, because the Baltimore Civic Fund will send them directly back to us. So, so we work in tandem with the Baltimore Civic Fund, who's our fiscal agent. And whenever someone contacts them, they send them directly to us so that we can ensure that we're following all of the practices and the ethics rules before any donation.
So who will be the gatekeeper? Will it be the Civic Fund, or you're saying overtly that it's you?
The gatekeeper for solicitation of funds for Mowain is myself.
Okay.
And I work directly with Rachel Donegan and Phil Smith at the Baltimore Civic Fund.
Okay. Thank you for that
You're welcome.
explanation. And yeah.
All right.
I have a quick point of clarification. Under the waiver process, the law says that solicitation efforts must be broad, and if controlled donors are unknowingly included in solicitations, that isn't, the waiver permits it so long as the donors are disclosed on the reports. So the office has to disclose anyone who's kind of swept up in that broad solicitation efforts. So that's why the waiver specifically says how are controlled donors not targeted, but if they are swept in that general fundraising, as long as they're disclosed on the reports, each 3 months, then it's in compliance with the waiver. So like, as you're saying, Ms. Estep, you would have to just disclose all of those, all of the
Mhm.
individuals who are solicited.
Correct, and we do that. So all
Right.
donations solicited, and sometimes it may be too much in kind and financial. Everyone is listed on that report so that we cover all bases.
Yes, that's it.
Okay,
Right.
thank you.
The fifth question is answered. We're going to do billboards. We're going to do Facebook ads. So we're
Mhm.
targeting, we're, broadly. We're not,
Right.
just going to write 14 people and ask for money.
Right.
So,
Correct.
yes, at random is better. So. All right. Thanks again. And we'll be happy to discuss your request.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Okay.
Have a good
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
bye.
Thank you.
Okay. So do we want to discuss this here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it's civic fund. I agree. The fifth question probably could have been more responsive. The fifth answer.
In the past, on the past couple of waivers, the board has approved contingent on the insufficient amendments. So we could ask her to just clarify part 5, and if the board finds it sufficient, it would be approved. It's a
I think
suggestion.
that would be an appropriate thing to do, because I think Noel's point that it should be in the application is an important one. And because, people are the public can look at the application, they won't necessarily see our deliberations here. And if it doesn't
Right.
say anything clearly about that, then it might stick out as missing. So I think that's a good idea.
All right. Does anybody want to make a motion to approve the request upon amendment?
Yes, I'd move to approve the request on amendment to clarify that controlled donors will not be targeted by the solicitation, although some may be inadvertently solicited or solicited in a non-targeted way, if that makes sense.
It makes sense. I'll second it. Okay. All in favor of approving the solicitation waiver application? Okay. Upon amendment, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, great. That's unanimous. That appears to be the extent of our new business in a public session today. So without objection, we're going to adjourn the public session until next month or as needed. All right,
Thank you.
we're adjourned. Thank you.